Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Review anything and everything. Today we're getting into another non-unboxing review. I just want to make that clear. But this is a review of the Hasbro Marvel Legends Silver Surfer. Now, to the best of my knowledge, I believe this is a remake, but it is nonetheless a new version of Silver Surfer that I had just gotten in the mail today. And today is the 30th of July. And hopefully the time that I put out this video is around the same time that I'm recording this. But I just say that to say that, give you the date to say that it's actually brand spanking new from pre-order. And I don't know if this is the same one that came with the Galactus HasLabs Galactus, but it definitely, for me, it's a new Silver Surfer because I missed any kind of time prior to this where Silver Surfer was available. So here you could see he has a very kind of like a semi-gloss kind of look or shine going on. So it's not a chrome look, but I kind of like it. It still conveys the idea of him being shiny without being overly shiny, which means you don't have to worry about flaking, at least based on just the way it looks. For anybody who is ever familiar with much older toy line like Silverhawks, for example, this is way back in the days, but the plating was a high shiny chrome and very reflective. And after time, it would peel. So it looked great when you first had the figures, but then over time they would peel and didn't look so good. So as opposed to that, you could tell that this is a very reflective, no, reflective, but not in that way. But it's shiny. It holds a shine to give you that sense of Silver Surfer without having to worry that it's gonna peel off. So here you can see it a little more closer up, and he comes with his energy. What would you call those? A good word for them? I would say, I guess, his pre-energy projectiles, if you want to call it that, for lack of a better word. Where he's just charging up or just displaying power, which I think is always a great thing to have stuff like that. Um, he's not coming with an actual projectile shot, though I wouldn't even know how you would do such a thing in terms of like a figure being able to blast. But nonetheless, he has that, similar to how Doctor Strange has energy like that as well that circles his hands. But obviously, this is cosmic energy here and not magic. He's got two other sets of hands, one with a fist and an open palm, and the other one with kind of chopping, for lack of a better word, or like a chopping kind of opening. You see he's got his surfboard back there. Take a look at the side of the box. You can see it has some box art, which looks nice. Here, some more box art. I don't know if this is like a render, if it's actually the actual figure. Metallic skinned humanoid from the planet Zenla, the Silver Surfer gets his name from his shimmering appearance and iconic hovering surfboard. So there you go. The art is on both sides. Silver Surfer on the top. And that's pretty much it. So if you guys are interested in such figure, you never got him during a previous wave. Like I said, I believe this is a remake. I don't think there's any changes, but I don't know of the previous versions, though I've seen them before in video reviews. And if it is an exact carbon copy of the other ones, then for those who never had a chance to get those, like myself, you can pick this one up. I'm going to have the link in the description for Amazon. But if it's something where you already had them before, then you could probably pass. If anyone has previous older ones, you can comment below if this is a carbon copy of either a previous version of Silver Surfer that was in an individual pack, or if it is a carbon copy of the one that comes with the HasLabs Galactus. So getting into a little bit of just background information in regards to the Silver Surfer and where he stands in Marvel. And mind you, I don't know all the details of more current kind of stories and status of him, but I'm going off his traditional, more golden age and maybe silver age, if you want to call it that, aspects of him. So one, he became probably one of the primary rivals to Thanos, um, at a certain point in time. I know Thanos originally started off as an Iron Man villain, funny enough, which is why that kind of really caters to the MCU's storyline. But at the same time, um, he was a primary villain for Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, the male, and he was a primary villain for Adam Warlock. But at a certain point in time in the comics, especially in the, I want to say maybe early 90s, he was definitely a major enemy for the Silver Surfer. And they had bumped heads. There was a certain point in time we came across him. Silver Surfer came across Thanos and realized how powerful he was. And then from that point on, they always had a very strong rivalry that was always back and forth. They even used to have it in the old cards back in the days where um, you would have some of the old Marvel cards would display epic battles, and one of them would always be Silver Surfer versus Thanos. And constant several different card series, they always would depict that fight because it was, like I said, one of the more epic rivalries that you had in Marvel. Similar and very much akin to Wolverine and Sabretooth, Silver Surfer became that with Thanos. Now, what's interesting is they both, for the most part, rivaled each other's power levels to the best of my knowledge. I think there were some times where Thanos may have displayed to be a little bit more powerful, but for the most part, they were around on par with each other. And both of them, well, jumping to Silver Surfer specifically, because this is about him, where he stands in Marvel's lineup in terms of power, a lot of people may not realize or know, but he's actually probably the most powerful regular superhero character. At least back in the 90s he was. I can't really speak for any new characters that came out and have, along the way have gotten stronger and better than anyone else or whatever the case is. But in the mid 90s, Silver Surfer was considered the most powerful superhero, like as far as like a good guy superhero character. Now, yeah, there are characters who are above that, Odin, this and that, whatever the case is, but just someone who you would regular see who had, like would take on regular adventures, who was, I want to use the word regular loosely, but in the sense of that they weren't super godly. I guess you could say he was the highest point that you could get before someone was like godly, or, like they're that type of person who just sits around and they don't interact with nobody because they're just that powerful. Silver Surfer was the peak of that. And, with his abilities and whatnot, based on what he can do in terms of utility powers and whatnot, the fact that he can rearrange matter and whatnot, and all those kind of things. His travel capabilities, traveling light speed, teleporting, energy projection, that was considered off the charts, along with his durability and whatnot. Um, he pretty much was the top tier of any superhero character and leaps and bounds above many others, even characters like Thor. There was a comic book just a couple of years back. I wouldn't say it was. I don't know. At this point now, it may have been like 6 years, 7 years, 8 years ago, really. But it feels like it was just yesterday. But a comic where Galactus and Odin had a kind of bumped heads, and in that, Silver Surfer had fought Thor, and you saw the difference in their power was actually pretty large. Where Thor headbutted Silver Surfer, and Thor went flying back. And Surfer took a bit of a step back as well, but Surfer, if I'm not mistaken, Surfer wasn't really that badly injured, and Thor was bleeding, and Thor was the one who initiated that attack. So Surfer definitely is like the quintessential super powerhouse in Marvel, in terms of just superheroes. So I just wanted to kind of really dive into that, just give a little bit of aspects of his powers. There's really, the saying with Silver Surfer always would go, it's not so much what he can do as much as saying what is it he can't do, because there's almost nothing that he can't do. And it's funny because if anyone's familiar with the old price guide line, they used to be called Wizard back in the days. There was a issue where it said the top, I think they did a top 10 of most powerful superheroes between all the comic companies. They had DC, Image, and Marvel. And I know I'm going to get this list wrong off the top of my head, but I believe that it was Hulk was number 10 at the bottom. And the reason why they said that was because of things like, this is this list was based on people doing the most cheesy things you could think of. So it wasn't just on that basis of, okay, you're fighting fair. And he was just too slow. So I think number 9 may have been Professor X. I want to say number 8 may have been, I want to say Spawn, maybe. I think that number, uh, let's see, I think number 7 might have been Storm. Is it the one from DC who has matter manipulation? Um, then I want to say next, I want to say 6, I think was the Flash, and I think 5 was Spawn. I think 4 was, I want to say, I think I want to say it was Wonder Woman. I could be wrong. Number 3 was Superman. Number 2 was Thor, and number 1 was Silver Surfer. If I have that list correct. And so Silver Surfer, they pretty much just said there's nothing he can't do. Characters who were fast, he's faster than them. At least at the time, they said like he was faster than the Flash. That may not be the case now, but at the time, it kind of makes sense. You got a character who travels on land, on Earth. You got another character who travels from solar system and galaxy to galaxy. So, but I just want to say that to point out the fact that Silver Surfer is just extremely powerful, and that's where he kind of ranked in Marvel's, continuum. With that being said, you guys, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video.